Hello and welcome back. We are on lesson 292, which says a happy outcome is all. Oh, no, let me start again. A happy outcome to all things is sure. A happy outcome to all things is sure. A reminder that every story in your life is already written with a peaceful ending. You may not see how yet, but love has already resolved what fear believes is broken. Every path, every detour, every delay is gently leading you back to joy. Nothing can go wrong in truth because God has guaranteed the ending. Oh, I love this so much. We've said it so many times that our puny perspective can only see one puzzle piece at a time, right? Where the higher faculty of us can see the whole thing. Our like God, like nature, God can see the whole thing. I like to use this analogy of when you watch a movie, you don't skip to the end of the movie to watch what the ending was, right? But so many of us try to do that. And here's the thing, when you watch a movie, the ending is so much better because of the journey, right? Because of the trials and the tribulations and the challenges and the cliffhangers and the pain and the suffering, and then turns into a hero and everything turns around, right? That makes the ending so much more enjoyable. It's the archetype of the hero's journey, and that's no different to all of our lives. Only I truly believe that we don't have to go on such a roller coaster of a hero's journey when we can surrender and trust and know that the outcome will always be a happy outcome, right? It's always going to work out in our favor. It's always going to there's always going to be a happy ending. And do you know what, this is so funny because when I was younger, I had the belief, and this is so funny. I had the belief that I thought it was illegal to for movies to have bad endings. Like every movie had to have a happy ending, and if it didn't, then it was illegal and it was really bad. So I was like, every ending has to be happy. Wow, clearly I was just connected to my true essence. Of course, every ending is happy. So funny. Why I was like, it's illegal if they do that. I remember watching a movie once with a sad ending. I was like, why would they do that? It's illegal. They're not allowed to do that. But again, all just stories, right? But the story designed for you is one of a happy outcome, and that you can be sure of. Because as we've known as a result of this course, like love never leaves, right? Nothing ever leaves. Really, when I say nothing ever leaves, what I'm saying is the essence, the undercurrent, the love, the peace, the joy, the bliss that carries all things never leaves. It just shape shifts, right? So whilst you might be so sad and heartbroken that you think the love of your life is leaving, yeah, out that exit stage left, but in stage right through that door comes an even better person. If you trust in that you are worthy of a happy outcome, if you trust in seeing life through the lens of love, joy, peace, right? Because you cannot have an happy here's the thing, you cannot have a happy outcome if you aren't happy, right? It's just they're just not a match, just doesn't exist. So you have to anchor into, like we said before, happiness. And when you anchor into that happiness in the present moment, you can trust that the bigger picture of it all is for your greater good and for your own happiness. That's it for me on this one.
Okay, so a happy outcome to all things is sure. So the way that I would think of it is kind of like we're all going down a river. We're all going down a river, and we don't need to do anything to go down the river. The current is already taking us down the river. And what the ego does, or what we want to do, is we want to try to control every single little thing. So we start swimming against the current. We start swimming over here, swim, 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 putting in all this effort, all this doing, and sometimes it leads to where we want to go, and sometimes we end up crashing into rocks or crashing into a shore, crashing into other rafts or boats or whatever. And the truth is that already, already at our true nature, because we are God, we are source, Our natural state is love, it is peace, it is not just abundance, it is the limitlessness of life, of whatever, of everything. Already it is that. So we're all just allowing ourselves to just be carried by the stream. Already we're headed towards the happy outcome. Already we're headed towards our true desires. Already we're headed there. We don't need to fight the current. The ego doesn't need to like take up its little paddle and start paddling around. But that's what we do. And honestly, all like atrocities, all like bad things, even though there's no such thing really such thing as good and bad, but all like bad things that we consider bad that happen in the world happen as a result of ego. All of them. It's always ego because greed only happens when you believe in lack, and it's only through the ego that you can believe in lack. Hurting other people only happens through hate, and it's only ego that creates the story of hate. Or also fear, like tribes attacking each other and like fear of lack of resources and stuff like that. So it's only through those things that all atrocities happen, that all, horrible things happen. Um, so if every single person were to just surrender and allow the river to carry them and know their true nature, everything would just unfold, reflecting joy, peace, love, and limitlessness all the time. So the river is already headed towards a happy outcome. And you can look at it for like each individual situation for all things, or you can look at it as like one, but it's all just a river flowing downstream to a happy outcome. And what I see this as is like an invitation to just surrender, to trust, like all the problems you have, trust that you can surrender it to the river and it will carry it to a happy ending. All the worry you have, drop it, let it go. We only hold on to worry, we only hold on to fear, we only hold on to grievances because there's a part of the ego, there's a part of the story, there's a snapshot that says it's not safe to let go. That says this is protecting me, this is preventing something bad from happening, or I deserve to be punished because blah 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 blah, whatever. So if we just let it go and drop it and back into the river and we just allow the river to carry us, all happy endings are sure. Now you may say like, well, what about people who like they clearly don't have happy endings? But we also have to understand that we are not this body. We are not this life. We are not this character having this little human experience. So if we are not that, then this little story is not the end. It's not like, oh, they had this life and they had this like supposed bad ending, and therefore that's the end. They had a bad ending. No, there's still a happy outcome available. There's still a continuation. There's no ending. So we have to take our minds out of like the narrow way that we see the world, out of the narrow way that we see everything. If you want to use the context of like past lives and and like reincarnation, you can do that, although that's just another story. But that's one way of like helping bringing the mind out of this idea of like, well, this person didn't seem to have like a happy outcome. Do you really believe that that's the end? Do you really believe that that's the outcome? There's more evidence that points to the story. Again, reincarnation is just a story, but there's more, if you want, in the like illusion of time and space, there's more evidence that shows that reincarnation or some form of like consciousness not ending, the experience doesn't end at the end of this life, right? I have full on memories from my past life, from past my past lives. Again, that's not, it's just part of the story, but it helps put this into context, help take our mind out of like, oh, doesn't feel like there's a happy outcome, but there is. So this is actually very powerful because not only is it that like things don't end where they seem to end. Well, we talked already about that there's actually no death. There is no death. But also if you truly surrender, if you truly allow that river to carry you, it's going to carry you to a place that reflects happiness, that reflects joy, that reflects peace, the happy outcome. So I guess so it becomes a matter of, are we going to fight the delay? Because here it says, it is up to us when yeah, it says, yeah, it is up to us when this is reached. It's referring to the happy outcome. So it's guaranteed that only joy can be the final outcome found for everything. And that joy is the returning to our true nature and the returning home. Yet it is up to us when this is reached. How long we let an alien will appear to be opposing God's will. So it is up to us how long we allow the ego's fighting against this truth, to appear to be opposing the will of God, that where everything is already headed towards that happy ending. Happy outcome. I wouldn't say ending because there's no ending. And it says, while we think this is all real, we will not find the true happy ending that God has designated for us, has appointed for us, has appointed as the outcome for all the apparent problems that we receive, all the trials we receive, all the situations that we meet. But no matter what, there is a happy outcome. There is an ending to, there is an ending to the perceived problems. There is an ending to the stories. There is an ending to these apparent situations, these illusory situations. When we seek, we will find according to God's will, which guarantees that our will is done. So the prayer. We thank you, God, for your guarantee of only happy outcomes in the end. Help us not interfere and so delay the happy endings you have promised us for every problem that we can perceive, for every trial we think we still must meet. That's it for me, Sammy.
I love that. Thank you so much. Gosh, my forehead is so shiny. I don't know why I felt the need to share that all with you. Just in case you've been looking at my forehead over the last however long and being like, wow, she's wow shiny. That's my inner shine glowing on the outside for you all. You know what? I happened to turn to a book in the library the other day, and it was one of these yogis. The back, hang on, oh, I can't even say it. The back, I can't even say it. It's a big yogi book. And I happened to turn to a page and it was really interesting, the story, because it was talking about past lives. And it basically had a picture of what someone was in their previous life and what they came back as. And it had like people being really greedy, eating loads of food on the left hand side, and on the right hand side, it had a picture of them coming back as a pig. And I was like, that is so interesting. It's so interesting. And like Karina said, that it's a never ending story, right? Have you ever watched that film? It's a never ending story. The story just goes on and on and on. So who says it ends when it ends? Only you believe it ends, because that's as far as your mind will take you. But how does any of us know, right? It's all just assumptions, and people experiencing truth to their level and then explaining it through their perspective. So in all honesty, like, who knows, right? But isn't it better to believe that we're all due a happy ending? I know I'd rather. So again, if we have a choice to believe in whatever we want to believe in, let's make it a good choice, or something good to believe in, right? So even if you think this is all BS or whatever, I'd rather buy into this story than others that society might be projecting onto us, for example, right? So that's all I have to say on the matter. Do you have anything else, Karina? No. We will see you all tomorrow. Bye.